Okay. Alright, cool.
Am I in there?
Yeah,
How do you know?
because I can see it on my phone. Alright. So can you tell me your name?
Michele Lawrence.
Okay, thank you. So,
Do you need my maiden name?
sure.
Michele LeBlanc Lawrence.
Cool.
Do you know what that means?
Would you like to tell me?
LeBlanc means the white in French.
Oh, that's cool, because
I'm French.
Yeah. So this interview is pretty much going to be about like the 80s, pretty much, or surrounding like when you went to college, graduated, and kind of started your career, pretty much. You know.
Okay.
So I guess if you just could you start by telling me a little bit about your childhood?
Oh, wow. Okay.
I guess like where did you grow up and like how was school and what did you enjoy?
Okay. So I grew up in Donaldsonville, Louisiana, which is between Baton Rouge and New Orleans. It's tiny. And I went to there was a public school and a Catholic school, and you had to pay to go to the Catholic school, and we had 9 kids. So I went to public school in 1st grade, Catholic school in 2nd grade, public school in 3rd grade. Mama tried to she tried to do half and half. But anyway, in 1972, over the Christmas holidays, the nation banned segregation, and we had to change the public school we were going to go in a different district. And so which was actually kind of fun, but I was in the 3rd grade, and so from 4th grade on I went to the Catholic school. But by that time we only had 4 kids left at home too. 5 had graduated. So anyway, so my graduating class, we had 94 kids in my class, and it wasn't a great school, but I took the hardest classes that they did offer because I knew I wanted to go to college. So I was pretty much friends with all the same group of kids who took physics and chemistry and trig and stuff like that. And anyway, what did we like to do? There's only one main street in Donaldsonville called Railroad Avenue, but when we got our license when we were 15, and if your parents let you use the car, that's what we did. We rode up and down Railroad Avenue, and every Friday and Saturday night. Of course, we did. Well, I was pretty active in school. I was a cheerleader, and I played basketball, and I tried to run track, but I wasn't any good at that. And I also played intramural softball in the summer. But anyway, so football nights, that was all fun. So before I graduated from high school, we didn't have, really strong guidance counselors or anything. I went to the school office and said, where are the college applications? And we had applications for LSU and Nicholls State. So I applied to LSU and got in and started in August of 1979. And I finished in August of 1983.
Nice. When you were in high school, did you know what you wanted to do as a career?
No.
Or did you just know that you wanted to go to college?
I just knew that I wanted to go to college because, we had 9 kids and I never had my own clothes. All I ever had was hand-me-downs. So I really wanted to get a really good job and be able to get my own stuff. And I also wanted to get out of Donaldsonville. It just was really small, and not that I wanted to go far, I just knew that I wanted to go to a bigger city. So when I was either in 11th or 12th grade, one of our teachers gave us a project that we had to interview someone in the career that we thought we might want to go into. So I was able to get an interview with a lady at a television station in Baton Rouge because I thought I wanted to be like a newscaster or just do something in television. I don't know why I thought that, but I did. And that lady that I met with said that no matter what I really wanted to do, that I should major in marketing because marketing was the major of the future, and it was really broad and diverse, and it could take me in a lot of directions. So I majored in marketing, and I really didn't enjoy the courses that much. I enjoyed the accounting courses, but I needed to get out in 4 years, and because I was not on the parent plan, I was on the pay my own way through college plan.
Mm.
So I couldn't switch to accounting because I would have lost too many hours. But after I graduated from college and got a job, I went back and took the accountings that I needed to be able to sit for the CPA exam. And I passed it, but I never became a CPA either. I went into banking.
Mm. How did you pay your way through college?
Well, so my dad had died when I was a baby, so I had a little bit of Social Security benefits, which now they don't pay them to you through college. They stop when you're 18, but when I was growing up, I got Social Security and veterans benefits because my dad had also been in World War II.
Mm-hmm.
So, but that was only like $378 a month. So, I worked at the LSU library during school. Every summer I worked. Some summers I worked 2 jobs, like I lifeguarded, and I also worked at an engineering firm. Um, and then I had another job at LSU that was from the spring through the summer, which was the executive program. So I basically worked and saved everything that I could save. And when school would start each year, I would defer my payments so that I could. But I never took out a penny in student loan. I was able to. I worked, and I paid for it. Paid for everything, my living, my books, my living expenses, where I lived, books, tuition. So.
Cool. Any like memorable experiences from like your young adult life, like maybe during college or like late high school, anything like that?
Wow. I don't know when I was like in 7th grade, our high school won the state championship. That was really exciting. I can't think of anything big right now other than that.
Okay. Do you remember like maybe one of the most like critical times in your early life, or like something that you really need to get done, or like something that was?
I think the most critical day, the most critical situation I can remember was, so I told you I was the 9th child, and my dad had died, and my mom really, as a single parent with that many children, it was hard for her to help me at all. So when I first started LSU, I was 17, and my Social Security benefits were still going to her, so I didn't really have any money, and I needed, several things. I hadn't gotten a job yet, and I called her and asked her if she could help me, and she really couldn't, which I know it was hard for her to tell me that, but anyway, I called one of my sisters and told her my problem, that I was up at college, I had no money, and she said, I think when each one of us was born, Daddy put $25 in the savings account for us, and I'm going to go to the house. So she went to our house and went in the safe and found my savings account book. And thankfully, we were from a really small town and everybody knew everybody. And her friend worked at the savings and loan, and she let her cash out that savings account for me. And she brought me, it was $444 that was in that account. And it saved me. And then after that, again, being from Donaldsonville, I was able to get a job at the LSU library because the man who ran it, Mr. Mike Sotil, was from Donaldsonville. And that was something that carried me through my life. At least when you're in South Louisiana and you're from a town, like everybody knew somebody from there. And that was always kind of fun. Like I didn't join a sorority because half my dorm was from Donaldsonville, and anyway, I don't have a shortage of words, and I make friends pretty easily. But sorry, the question was the memorable day or the turning point.
Yeah. What'd you do like right after you graduated?
I got a job at Ryder's Jewelers in Beaumarchais Mall. I had gone to a few job fairs and interviewed around, and it was weird, like nothing was really kind of landing at the time, and I went in the mall for something else, and this is like the way a lot of things happen in my life. I went in the mall for something else, happened into Ryder's Jewelers. Maybe I saw something in the window. I don't know. And it just turned out that the guy who was waiting on me was the manager. And I said, I might have just come from a job interview or something. He said, "You're looking for a job?" He said, "Would you be interested in being an office manager here because we have an opening?" And I wasn't interested, but I didn't have any other offers, and it was a really nice store. So that was my first job out of college.
How long did you do that?
I think about 2 years, a little over 2 years. But it was cool because I was the office manager, which finance was my thing, but they would pay me commission. They said they would let me sell jewelry, and I got to go through a lot of training on jewelry and learn about stones and gold and silver and platinum and stuff. So yeah, it was fun. It was a good job.
Yeah. Um, did you do any like traveling out of college or anything like that?
No, I can't pause it, huh?
I'll get it.
Okay. Um, I did go. I mean, I took a trip to San Antonio after I graduated, and just kind of did the river walk, and I actually went to a job fair in San Antonio too. But I didn't go overseas or anything.
Okay. So what year was it when you left that office manager job?
I think 1984 or 5, either 84 or 85.
Yeah, because you graduated 83, right?
Right.
Okay. So you wanted to do finance, right?
Yes.
Finance. What did you find after that office manager job?
A job at a bank.
At a
And
bank?
it was a small bank in Donaldsonville, but it was awesome because I got to do everything. And I was one of the few people working there that had a college degree, which was awkward in a way because a lot of the girls that had to teach me stuff, I ended up being their supervisor, but they were still great. But that was I got to do bookkeeping. I got to work with vault cash, like more cash than you've ever seen in your life, like counting it when it came in from the Fed and stuff. I got to open new accounts. I got to do a lot of reporting. I got to help the president with the investment portfolio and learn about that. So that took me to my next job, which was at a much bigger bank. And I was interviewing for an accounting position, but they had an investment position. And the accounting manager that interviewed me said, if they give you a choice, you should take the investment position because that's the wave of the future. And they were right. Which actually by now the wave has sort of, it was banks had just started going into offering brokerage services like a Merrill Lynch. And I rode it through the peak. And then when you were born, I had just switched to a brokerage firm, but things weren't that great. And a lot of firms were being bought out and merging, and then a lot of things that just happened that made them tighten up the rules. And anyway, I'm glad I retired and stayed home with you.
Nice. I'm just gonna check. Okay. So with like investment being the wave of the future, around what time did you hear that investment was the wave of the future?
It was 1989, I believe. And what I meant meant banks starting to offer brokerage services, whereas instead of people necessarily having to go to a Fidelity or a Merrill Lynch or a Charles Schwab, they could actually deal with somebody right there in their own local bank.
Mm-hmm.
So.
So obviously the 80s was kind of a big decade for America. Do you remember any like big stuff about the 80s? like who's the president or like?
I mean, I really just remember. I remember when Reagan was shot. I was probably a junior in college, and I was in my dorm room when I heard it, and it was a really, it was a very odd feeling because I did understand that, like the 70s, the economy was really bad. Jimmy Carter was president, and interest rates were so high. Um, it was hard to buy a house. It was hard for anybody to buy a car. Groceries were so expensive, and then not that Reagan could fix it all immediately, but because of his party affiliation, they tend to do better with the economy, and he had been a career actor, and he was just an all-around good guy, and it just seemed like Americans were starting to feel more secure again and proud and happy that he was our president. And I was a baby when John Kennedy was shot, so it was like a weird feeling that, wow, like, I mean, I hated it, but it was also, I'm getting to experience something that is going to be part of history, and thank goodness he didn't die, because that would have been awful. And then a few years later, I remember when the space shuttle, when Christy McCulloch was going to be the first, and was the first woman in space. She was a teacher and just loved by everyone, and that shuttle never made it back to Earth. That was sad. That was really scary. I didn't like that.
So
but interest rates did start coming down again, like, when I bought my first car. Well, I bought my first car, I used my babysitting cash money. But when I got a job that required a car, I was able to get a loan that was a decent interest rate.
So would you say, like, Reagan being president, what do you think that him helping the economy helped you as a, like, new out of college?
Well, right there, being able to buy a car, being able to borrow the money from the bank where the interest rate was more like 7% instead of 20%. That helped a lot. That's the only thing that I can think of that was specific to me at the time.
Mm-hmm.
But my sisters started getting married, and then they were all, able to buy houses.
Nice. Maybe we kind of went over events. What about any, like, trends kind of that you may have followed or enjoyed?
Well, I definitely had the big hair. If you see pictures of anybody from the 80s, all the girls had perms.
Mm-hmm.
It was supposed to just give your hair body, but it gave them these awful, like, curls.
Mm-hmm.
It was hideous. But we all had them. We all had big hair.
Yeah. Anything like, I don't know, parachute pants or anything like that?
Oh, I'm trying to remember now. I mean, leisure suits were when I was in high school in the 70s. And yeah, so were bell bottoms. I don't.
Oh,
well,
music.
Urban cowboy. I mean, country music was huge, and boots and jeans and plaid shirts was kind of in.
Mm-hmm.
I would say.
Do you listen to any, like, rock or anything like pop or something?
Well, I like
Any
Oreo
bands?
Speedwagon.
Yeah.
I mean, Oreo Speedwagon's probably as rock as I got it, I would say.
I mean, that's 18 and a half minutes.
Okay.
I mean, that's, like, in the ballpark. I think that's...
Can you ask me the best thing that ever happened to me? Because
What's
it was
business?
you, buddy. You, Jackson Blake Lawrence.
Thank you. All right.
Good enough?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you.